Good evening. Following his crisis management meetings with Prime Minister of Kosovo, Albin Kurti, and President of Serbia, Aleksandar Vučić, to find a way out of the current crisis in the north of Kosovo, the HRVP will inform you about the outcome of the meeting.
Thank you. Well, you know very well that for almost 4 weeks, we have been witnessing the situation in North Kosovo deteriorating, to my understanding, unnecessarily, with protest and violent clashes. The KFOR troops, journalists, law enforcement officers, and normal citizens were injured, and we hear about incidents on a daily basis. This is unacceptable, unaffordable. This cannot continue. And that's why I ask President Vučić and Prime Minister Kurti to come to Brussels today for a crisis management meeting. Again, we are on crisis management mood. Yes, we are dealing with a crisis, and I thank to both of them for coming to Brussels and try to look for the escalation. We have called on Kosovo and Serbia many times to de-escalate tensions and to return to the process of normalization of relations. And the member states of the European Union have been very clear in calling for resolute steps, and so the United States has done also. Unfortunately, so far, all we have been witnessing is just the opposite. Together with the European Union Special Representative, Mr. Lajcak, we spent the last 4 hours, more than 4 hours, first with Prime Minister Kurti, after with President Vučić, in separated meetings, they were not joint meetings, to try to find a solution or at least a way forward. We presented to the parties our clear expectations to Kosovo to immediately suspend police operations in the vicinity of the municipal buildings in the north of Kosovo, and for the 4 mayors to temporarily perform their duties in premises out of the municipal buildings. For Serbia to ensure that the protesters will withdraw from the municipal buildings simultaneously with the withdrawal of the Kosovo police. To both to announce early elections as soon as possible in all 4 municipalities with the unconditional participation of the Kosovo Serbs. And here is the core of the problem and the core of the solution. Early elections, new elections, as soon as possible, with full participation. And after, once the situation in the ground becomes normal, to continue working on normalization through the European Union facilitated dialogue. Only a few months ago, we reached a landmark agreement on the path to normalization. And it really looked like we were on a good track in order to advance on this normalization of relations. We need to go back to the implementation of these agreements, and this includes starting with any further delay or any kind of preconditions, negotiation for the drafting of the Statute of the Association Community of the Serb majority municipalities in the north of Kosovo. I think that we have been very clear also that there cannot be impunity for the perpetrators of violence, but this issue has to be left to the judiciary to be handled in a professional and impartial manner. So today's meeting did not focus on what, but on how and when. how to diffuse the situation on the ground, how to diffuse it in very concrete steps, how to organize new elections, and how to return to the dialogue and implementation of all dialogue obligations, in particular the recent agreement on the path to normalization. After a 4 hours meeting, I think the two leaders understand the severity of the situation, but obviously they are in different situations, different approaches, different interpretations of the causes and also effects, consequences and solutions. In order to try to go forward, I've been putting on the table concrete proposals based on the mentioned conditions of the European Union. And at least in this context, we agreed on the need for new elections and discussed in detail the modalities and the steps on how to get there. We are still not there, but at least we know how to proceed, which are the different alternatives and procedures. And we also discussed about arrest. I stress that arbitrary or unrightful arrest or mistreatment of prisoners is completely unacceptable. Our civilian mission, our EULEX mission in Kosovo will play a more robust role in monitoring this context. I also stressed to President Vučić that the 3 Kosovo policemen held in Serbia need to be released immediately and unconditionally. And summing up, I think that we have identified possible ways forward, but both parties urgently need to deliver on their commitments. In particular, it presented to Kosovo some allegations about the treatment of prisoners and the reason for some detentions, and I asked for a thorough investigation and evaluation of this situation and to take the appropriate measures. The last I can say is that the Special Representative, Mr. Lajčák, and myself will be in close touch with both parties on the coming days. I will report to the Foreign Ministers on Monday where we stand and where we should go. Thank you.
Thank you very much and have a good evening.